What's going on, ladies and gentlemen, saints and ain'ts, and welcome to Lactic Acid. I'm your host, Dominique Smith. Today, we have the legend, the baller, the shot caller, none other than Miss Sage Hurta. She's my interview guest for today. You're going to get a chance to know about her. Sage, how you doing? Welcome to the show.
I'm doing great. Yeah, thank you.
Of course, of course. So I've started asking this question, so I might as well stick to it because I've gotten some interesting responses so far. If Ben and Jerry's came to you and was like, Sage, we're trying to up the sport and you are a great ambassador. We feel like you can help us. We want to create an ice cream promotion centered around you. You can pick any two flavors and you get a chance to name it. And once you do, we're going to sell it in the store. What two flavors would you pick? And what would the name of the ice cream be?
Dang, I love all of their probably the milk and cookies, and then also the Americone Dream. Those are like my two favorite Ben and Jerry's flavors. You gotta have to go some sort of pun on Hurta for the name of it. Not totally sure. How does Hurta have anything to do with the cookie?
I mean, if you ask a dentist, they'll say it'll hurt your teeth, but that's the only. Those two flavors. Go ahead.
I mean, or you could just go something that has some sort of sage in it. More like a interesting ice cream flavor.
Oh my God, that would be. I'm not gonna lie to you. If somebody made a sage ice cream, that's something I'm staying far away from.
Me too. Me too. I kind of hate that sort of stuff. But
oh God, that's a tough one. That's a tough one. I'm gonna come back to that in a second, but I want to get to those two ice cream flavors. I've never seen either ice cream flavor in the store that you just named. Milk and cookies.
Really?
I've never seen it. And what was the other one? I forgot already.
Americone Dream.
Never heard of it. Never seen it. Never heard of it.
I think of it as it tastes like how an ice cream shop smells, because it has little waffle cone bits in it that are dipped in chocolate. So it tastes like an ice cream shop smells.
Wow.
Yeah.
So I like that. I'm against waffle cones. I think they are dangerous to society. It is a violent. Listen, if you ever had a hard waffle cone and it scraped the roof of your mouth, then that's a different kind of pain. That's like getting hit by Mike Tyson. But gosh, that I don't know. So what would be okay, what's the attribute about you that you love the most?
I think, oh gosh, this is a really heavy question. I think I have a good sense of humor when things go wrong. Maybe not when things are going mildly wrong, but when things go really wrong, it's just I just kind of make a joke out of it.
So that's a healthy perspective. So what about cool vibes?
For me?
Or just be the name of the ice cream.
Cool vibes?
Or chilling.
Yeah. That'd be pretty good.
Okay. I just went to the store. I'm not a huge. See, I live in Florida, so it's 1,000 degrees. Even though we had, I guess it was some kind of tropical storm that moved through earlier. So it's hot. We have two seasons, and that's summer and low key winter. So I would be eating ice cream all day. So I have to go check that out to see because I've heard of cookies and cream. I've never heard of milk and cookies.
Yeah.
That is. And so how does that taste like?
I mean, it's sort of that same cookies and cream idea, but instead of those Oreo type cookies, it's a chocolate chip cookie.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, I can do it. All right, Ben. if you can't get in touch with Ben or Jerry, one of y'all, if not the both, let's get this going, because that would be a dope promotion. So, Sage, you are balling so far this season, cracking 159 at the Big Meeks on your way to Eugene. I'm just calling it here first. I think Sage is going to be in top contention to get that third and final spot. I will save all predictions for the end of the show. But from your own words, how's the season going?
The season's going pretty well. It's been a little bit of a whirlwind, just sort of like it's my first full year as a pro, and it's been going pretty well. Just cracking out these really super consistent 800s, had a little 1500 PR in there, getting to travel a bit, sort of feeling like I'm just kind of winging it right now. A lot of these meets, it's sort of been like for pre, it was like, okay, I found out on Monday, it's like, hey, do you want to race on Saturday? It's like, okay, sure. Let me just I just got back from the UK yesterday, but of course I want to go. So it's just been sort of like winging it, like up in the air, but just enjoying it.
So I saw in a previous interview, like your parents came and then it was like, all right, yo, bet I got to go real quick. So
yeah,
that is just, yeah, I can see how that's winging it. But just from an outsider's point of view, you look like you're having so much fun out there winging it, like a kid in the candy shop discovering milk and cookies ice cream, like I just did.
Yeah.
In like the chaotic scene that is track and field, especially, it's such a weird year. Like it's crazy to me that it's June. We're recording this June 4th. And it's crazy to me that it's June 4th and like USA's are like around the corner, and then worlds are in July. It's like this crap is supposed to be in August.
Yeah.
And then like this is your first full-time, season as a pro. You say you're winging it, but have you found any semblance, like any balance in everything that's going on?
I would say balance is probably a strong word for how I'm dealing with everything, but you just gotta just keep moving forward and week to week and day to day, and it just I'm trying to like enjoy that I don't really totally feel balanced. It's so weird because I feel like this year as a pro athlete, you go through this huge period in the fall and the winter where balance is the name of the game, because it's just like training day in day out all looks the same, and then now it's like, okay, every week looks different. I have teammates racing here, I'm racing there, like just sort of thriving off of the chaos.
Oh my gosh, it's like organized chaos. It's like that little picture of the dude eating a hot dog or whatever he was, or drinking coffee with the fire behind him, like it's fine, everything's fine.
Oh, I love that meme.
Yeah, that's that's what it sounds like. And I don't know, it's all too much. It just really needs to chill. What's been the most fun part so far about being a pro, you would say, on the track or off the track, outside of not going to class?
Yeah, that was a nice change. I was lucky enough to sort of phase out of my academic career with just like a couple of classes my last semester.
Oh,
but the most fun part of being a pro is probably, maybe it's not so much of like not going to class, but I feel like my overall life stress has become a lot smaller, because I feel like when you're in college, there are so many moving parts, just like with how, I don't know, with your roommates, how you're living, like school, the NCAA season is just so compacted that it's really intense. It's like multiple times a year. So it's been really nice to be able to like truly feel like my track workouts are some of the hardest parts of my day, and I can totally focus on like bringing my best self to those. That's been fun, as opposed to in college, sometimes it was like, okay, I just need to get through this workout so that I can like move on to other things that I need to deal with.
I was not blessed to go to college to be an athlete, and I'm thankful. Yeah. I was not about that life. Obviously I competed in high school and that was hard enough. Mm-hmm. And it's so weird, just, I don't know, like my major was journalism, and I, been around athletes, I covered athletes and all that stuff. Yeah. And I remember the thrill in high school of like track meets, the district championship. I throw the shot put in a discus, At 10:30, I hear the announcement, can the shot putters in the field events be dismissed? You go out, you're pumped, you're missing school. It's like, yeah, that's what it is.
Yeah.
And then you stay in Florida, we run and throw and all that crap from sun up to sundown. That's what we do here in the Sunshine State. It's very entertaining, very long. But it's like, you're not worried about it. And usually it's on a Thursday or a Friday. And if the meet goes till 10, you get a chance to go to school late. And then it's like, I see people in college who are athletes, crap, I gotta like miss a day of school and stuff, and I gotta do all this homework, and then you're taking like your work on the road and all of that stuff. I don't think people realize like you have to be serious about being an NCAA like athlete. Yeah. And you were so good at it. Like, I know, like in previous interviews, you're like, yeah, I'm nothing to write home about. Listen, that's not even true in everything. But you were actually serious about school. If I'm not mistaken, you were going to be a doctor or going into the medical field. Am I wrong on that?
No, you're correct. Yeah, that's definitely like what I was sort of anticipating for a while. And then, my junior year came around, I started running a bit faster, and I was like, okay, you know what? I think it was really scary, honestly, to sort of be like, okay, I want to be a professional runner, because, it's not like anyone in my family's ever been a professional runner. So like, my grandparents especially are like confused, like, what do you mean? What's your next step? I'm like, I honestly don't have any like clear plans for what's next right now. But I originally wanted to be a doctor. Maybe still TBD.
TBD. Listen, I'm not kidding. If you go back to school, to medical school, somebody need to give you a Nobel Peace Prize. I don't care who's president, because that's just, oh my God. To me, that's like what running is. It's just torture, but it's all good. So let's step away from this track talk for a minute. We need to know about you off the track, and I have a specific question based on something I heard. But what are 3 things about you that people do not know?
Well, just kind of generally, I'm an only child.
Same here.
I feel like only children get a bad rap, and then people meet you and they're like, really?
Yeah.
Like, I interacted with other kids when I was little. Like, I'm not totally like inept.
I hate that so much. I'll get to that later, but go ahead.
I didn't really like, it's not something that continued in my life, but when I was younger, this is sort of like a fun fact. There was a period of time where I played the clarinet, the saxophone, and the oboe.
Okay, I see
all
you.
At once.
I see you.
Yeah.
Okay.
Wow. And then a third fun fact is that when I was 5, if I was to guess which sport I was trying to be an Olympian in, it would be swimming.
Okay. Listen, I love swimming. It's about as popular as track and field, unfortunately, but it's a tough sport. The only child thing hits home because people think that, oh my gosh, like, are you not socially developed? And it's like, yes. It's like, I just don't have, brothers and sisters, but there's nothing wrong with me. I love that you were a one-woman orchestra. I used to play the violin.
Okay.
Back in the day, and the drums. So listen, that takes like, the oboe was like scary to me. That is major props. And then the clarinet, I was only interested in it because Squidward from SpongeBob. And it was such a nice sound. Why did you stop playing?
It started to get, so it got to where I was primarily playing the oboe, and I'd only play it was like, oh, but the band had marching band things, and you can't really play the oboe in the marching band. But I had some experience on the clarinet, so I would play the saxophone in the marching band.
Okay.
But I just like my problem, I always loved playing music, and I especially loved it like in a band setting where everyone's there and it sounds really cool, but I just like couldn't really motivate myself to practice at the level that I needed to practice at. And then
Yeah.
I would get stressed about it, because I could no longer just sort of like wing it once it started getting like at a higher level. And so it just became this like negative cycle where I wouldn't practice enough, then I'd be super stressed because I wanted to be able to do it what better. So I was just kind of like, this isn't for me.
Listen, especially when you are in a high school band, and I love the band. I love college band. Just have to throw
Hmm.
it out there. Florida A&M has the best band in the world, the Marching 100. But the stuff that they do, one of my favorite movies is actually it's a movie called Drumline,
Hmm.
and just even looking at that, I was like, yeah, I'm glad I quit because like when you
Yeah.
start like reading music and then all the practices and then you have
Yeah.
to a new song, a new formation every week, I don't blame you.
Hmm.
That is tough. Swimming. So really why did you quit swimming?
I kind of feel like it's sort of similar to the oboe, but with swimming, it happened a lot earlier because I was a pretty good swimmer because I learned how to swim pretty early. So, like, when I was in elementary school, I was swimming a lot, and then I moved to New Jersey for a couple years, and it was like a matter of like, oh, do you want to join the more competitive swim team or the less competitive swim team? And the more competitive swim team was like needing multiple days a week to train for like hours at a time, and I was like 8 or 9 years old, and I just wasn't ready for that. It was just more of something fun for me. I couldn't make that sort of dedication at such a young age, which is more required of swimming.
It's weird. Like I watch like interviews with some of the best like Katie Ledecky
Hmm.
and Caleb Dressel, Michael Phelps, and all those, and they talk about their club swimming, and you got 5 a.m. practice, and then after school you go practice, and then they're in the water 10 times a week. I was like, oof,
Yeah.
that is granted, it's less taxing on you than
Hmm.
basically any other sport outside of people consider table tennis a sport. It's in the Olympics, but outside
Yeah.
of like that, but still, that's a
Hmm.
lot. That's a lot. So no, I don't blame you. But the one question I wanted to ask you: why do you like reality TV so much, specifically these housewife shows?
Oh yeah. You know,
Uh,
I it might just be because like growing up, I watched them, and it's just sort of like, so I just have been like invested probably for longer than I should be.
it's all good.
And maybe also because like my actual life has relatively little drama, so I get to like live through the drama a little bit. Uh,
You're
which
vicariously a housewife, like the housewives of like,
yeah,
oh my gosh,
my
there's
my
so many
college
of them.
coach made some comment like when I was leaving about how through all my years in college there's little dramas that happen on the team, and I successfully managed to avoid all of them. So like that's my personality. I will avoid drama in my life at all costs, but I do love to hear about it, but at least like through a reality TV show, it's not like I'm not directly involved.
Are you? That's funny. That's an interesting perspective because it's like you're blowing off steam, but through the lens of somebody else.
Yeah.
Are you wanting to talk like back to the TV? Like one of the husbands tripping, like you crazy, and you're like, no, I know she just did not. I know he just did not call her crazy. That's a 2 piece in the biscuit right there. Like, is
Yeah.
that you?
I mean, I definitely am thinking those things. I feel like I'm gonna speak more if someone's watching with me, then I'll start like voicing my opinions. When I'm on my own, maybe I do speak like that. I don't know.
Oh man, I gotta give a shout out to Sonia Richards Ross
Yeah. That was like the
interview.
most epic crossover event that's ever happened for my life.
With Sonia Richards. It's so funny. She's such a I got a chance to meet her
Mm-hmm.
last year at Pre, and I wrote a story on her. And she's so just like she knew where the camera was, like at all
Yeah.
times and stuff. So like when I found out that, because she had a TV show
Uh-huh.
a long time ago that I watched, which is like crazy. And then I was like, oh my gosh, she's on Real Housewives. Like, this is crazy.
Yeah.
Which one? So, gosh. So, in prep for this, every now and
Mhm.
then, like my mom watches that stuff, and
Yeah.
what will pique my interest is I hear it. And I was
Hmm.
like, why is the TV up that loud? She's like, no, it's not that loud. It's just that they're, yelling at
Yeah,
each
they're
other,
yelling.
which is just bonkers. Which season, or not season, but which city um is the best? Like, what's your favorite city?
So I started watching New York and Atlanta. Those are the two that I started
Ooh,
watching.
oh my gosh.
Um, and then I really liked the Beverly Hills for a while because it's just so, not only do you have that drama, but it's also just like so fascinating to sort of like peep into their world that they're living in, which is like way more removed from anything I've experienced. Um, and then this is just like brand new this week. There's now a Real Housewives of Dubai.
What? They all the way in
So
Dubai?
yeah,
Wow.
yeah. So there's been one episode which I watched this week, but I mean that's kind of interesting. The So similar to how the Beverly Hills was sort of like looking into a different world. I feel like Dubai is kind of like that too, which also makes it fun. Um, but yeah, those are probably like my top ones. There's some other ones out there that I've dabbled in, but those are the ones that I've watched more consistently. Although to be honest, I haven't really watched New York, so I'd say like Atlanta, Beverly Hills, and maybe this Dubai one will stick.
Oh boy.
Oh,
Wow.
actually, yeah, the Miami one. So
There's
not to
one in
bore you,
Miami.
there's one in Miami. Not to bore you with the details.
No, go for it.
There was one in Miami, and then they didn't record for like 5 years or something, and then they recently had another season, and that one was actually pretty interesting.
Do you know why they didn't record?
I don't know.
How much of this do you think is real?
You know, the more I feel like now that I have more time on my hands, I've been watching a little bit more, keeping track of all of the seasons that are going on. And then also, there are other reality shows that people will watch, and I've sort of like maybe keyed into them a little bit more, like whether it's Selling Sunset or I don't know, just like some random thing that we were watching at camp. And it's interesting because like it's definitely sort of like a made up environment. Like you are shooting a show. Like there's definitely just like a different feeling to it, like you plan to meet and discuss about these things. I feel like, I don't know, I feel like it's probably like a dramatized version. And maybe some people have certain agendas, like what they want to get across in their narrative. But yeah, I always think about like what people like show, especially if it's like something with their family, not
Yeah.
not across the board, but there are some like characters more than other where it feels a little bit more performative. you know
I will never admit this, so I'm not going to admit it, but I am going to say I've watched a couple episodes. I'm not admitting this. I'm just saying it in the third
yeah.
person.
Hmm.
Uh, Part of it was in prep for this, so
Yeah.
to speak. And then some of it, like I said, my mom would be like, oh, you would like this. I'm like, no, like I don't play football anymore. Like, and this is what
Yeah.
this exactly is. Like, because I've seen an episode of the Beverly Hills,
Hmm.
and oh boy, we don't have sponsors on this show yet. And so I don't want to say anything that could potentially jeopardize that. But like you said, it's like everybody lives up on the hill. They live up on the hill. Everybody else lives down here. So just like the basic things are like foreign concepts, which I do feel like is real. Like, because I mean, I heard somebody in Hollywood say that we shouldn't take baths, but twice a week, and you can go jump in the pool and bathe.
Yeah.
No, nobody. Okay, but anyway. But oh my gosh, is this stuff messy? Like, I'm hoping they make some of this stuff up, because I'm like, how do you sleep at night? Like, that just gives me anxiety thinking about
I
that.
know.
Like the cat fights, the fist fights. There were a couple fist fights I've seen, especially when you get down south.
Yeah.
Those I live for that stuff. That, because it's just funny, because it's
Uh-huh.
some of that I'm like, that has to be show and tell.
Yeah.
And stuff like that, pulling and all that stuff. And I was like, part of me can low-key understand why people like it.
Yeah.
But let me ask you this, and I'm trying to organize this in the best way possible. Without the mess, without the drama, specifically on the track performances, what would be the epic Real House people of track and field?
Oh my goodness.
Without the mess, like, you looked at my husband the wrong way with two eyes instead of one. We got the Scrabble now. Like, nothing like that. But just like Black Air Force One energy kind of stuff. Nothing bad, like I said, nothing messy. But people who would be great for reality TV, non-reality TV, like that.
Oh gosh, like from the shows, or
Just it
or
could be
from
people
track.
from track. It could be people in your training group. I don't care. But just characters that would be fun. Like you think the dynamic would be fun.
I feel like you would have to, like in the track world, I feel like it would be sort of fun because like people are pretty close, and I feel like training groups in general are fairly harmonious. But it'd be kind of fun if you did sort of like one of these shows where you just like bring people into a location and shoot for a while, like whether it's some sort of trip or something like that, but you're getting people from different training groups and different event groups. So like, let's say like the new gen guys versus like the guys on our team, and then like I don't know, or just some of the like characters where people kind of be like talking crap, and I don't know. I feel like that'd be sort of more fun.
I would like that. Oh my God, the sprints would be fun.
I know. It's like kind of think about what happens on Twitter, but then let's put everyone together and make that happen.
So like Marvin Bracey and Craybomb Gillespie. Oh man, because that was the big Twitter beef.
Yeah.
And then you can do like commentators, like you got Michael Johnson versus Otto
Oh my
Bolden.
gosh, that'd be hilarious.
Oh my God, Kara Goucher versus. The sad part of what I'm about to say, I can't think of another person because we don't have that many female broadcasters, which is the sad part about it. Because it would be Sarah. I'm sorry, Kara versus like Sonia Richards Ross.
Yeah.
And I don't think that's gonna be, because they would end up hugging each other.
I couldn't see. But who knows? They're both very competitive. Maybe if there's something on the line. Up the stakes a little bit.
That's true. That is true. But it couldn't be like a Real Housewives things. It would have to be like, you see, I'm not good with reality TV, but a less messy reality television show.
Yeah.
But no, that is a way. Go ahead.
I mean, it's not like with track, I feel like especially you could do something a lot more like Drive to Survive. Because that's not as messy, where like instead of following the F1 teams, you can follow the track stars, which is super fun. And then you get like the nitty gritty of like the drama and the beef on the track,
Oh man, gosh, I can like the field events, just trying to square up with like everybody else.
And I feel like that would be the type of setting for like field events, because it's often so hard to like pay attention with how like the streams will be with the field events, because it's like hard to know what's going on. But the pressure is like in that sort of like face off, one upping each other type of energy, which you could definitely like boil down into a great show.
Literally, like, okay, you got the field events versus the 5K with ESPN bragging rights. Like, okay, whoever completes this competition gets a complete ESPN 30 for 30 series.
Yeah.
And so you have like Will Clay versus like Paul Chalimo or Hillary Bohr. Oh, the steeple. Oh my God, steeplechase would be, oof.
Yeah.
Gosh. See, this is how we need to grow the sport. Like, I don't even know who to talk to in track and field, but honestly, if you want to listen to this episode to get some ideas of how to grow the sport, or what about Battle of the Locations? Mount Sac versus, or the Penn Relays versus Hayward. Because I will say this, it's much easier to get into Philadelphia than it is to Eugene.
100%.
It is for sure much cheaper. Oh my gosh.
Oh my gosh.
Plane ticket on every piece of chicken I've ever eaten. Just trying to get there was like almost $2,000.
Yeah. It's nuts.
And I was like, oof. So yes, the winner of that, I don't know, they would have to change up the airport. Just like a direct connect to Eugene, like no direct flight to Eugene.
We've been joking, like, because you know everyone's there. We have pre, and then we have USA's, and then there's worlds. And I feel like on our team right now is this like competition of who can have the most expensive plane ticket from Denver to Eugene.
Oh my gosh. But and here's the thing, like with the airline, that's a great competition because I think Delta wins. Let me just say that. You can't fly Spirit because your flight might get canceled.
Yeah.
I guess JetBlue's okay. Southwest, I mean, they keep sending me like deals like, we got a special offer. You get like $40 off $15,000 or something like that. So yeah, it's a great deal, and I'm so thankful that they keep spamming my email. But Southwest, if you want to sponsor the show, go ahead.
Yeah.
That would be interesting. Again, this is how we grow the sport. like Survivor. You got the 400 meters, the 400 hurdlers versus the 8 and 15. Whoever finishes like the decathlon first wins. Oh, that would be good. That would be good.
I feel like the 400 hurlers might have the best shot.
See, the 400 hurdles is, let me just say this, every race that is in track and field outside of, well, I was going to say outside of the shot put because that was my event, but you know, Ryan Krauser, every time he wakes up, he breaks his own world record. So I have to say every event is an event that I don't want to do, but the 400 hurdles seems to be about rhythm.
Yeah.
And then the 400 and the 800, I think you can attest to this. It's like a lactic acid like no other.
Yeah.
So I don't.
The 400. Oof.
I don't know. That takes a special kind of. Anyway, but to another topic. Colorado is quite literally my favorite place on earth. But I always ask the guests, what's the good food out there? At least what's your go-to? Like, is it something you make? Is it somewhere you go? Because the brother's always looking for food suggestions, you know, to enhance the palate, as the young kids would say.
Mm-hmm. You know, so I love a good breakfast burrito. So those are like there's this place called the Santo in Boulder. It's like this, I think it's New Mexican cuisine, whatever that is. Like
it's like
northern New Mexico. I don't know.
New Mexican. Like, it's like chilies. It's like peppers and.
Yeah.
I was watching Diners, Drive-Ins, and Dives. That's the only way I know this.
Yeah.
Yeah. Go ahead.
Well, I remember like when the indoor NCAA meet was going to be in Albuquerque in 2020, I wasn't competing because I was injured, but I was going to go down and like watch my teammates because it's pretty close to get to Albuquerque. And Marv was telling us all about like this place that we have to go because of the chilies in New Mexico. And I don't know, it's like this, it's an attraction, I guess. But yeah, or there's this place called Black Belly and it's like a butcher shop, but they also have like dinner and sandwiches and stuff, and they even have breakfast burritos. And I was so lucky the other day, I went after the breakfast burrito cut off, they still had some left.
See, that's swag. That's what happens when you run a 159 at pre.
Yeah.
That's what they heard that and they said, we got to hook a sister up. I don't think I've ever had a breakfast burrito.
Oh, wow.
Because like in Florida, they're not like, you know, we eat that stuff that sticks to your ribs and to your arteries kind of, you know, stuff.
Yeah.
I feel like the breakfast burrito is like a West Coast thing.
You know, I definitely, like, coming from living in New York mostly and then New Jersey a little bit, I was surprised when I came out here, like there's pizza, but like not like pizza and Italian like I was used to. And there's a lot more like Mexican food here, which totally makes sense, just like regionally. But yeah, so I would say breakfast burritos. I don't even know if I had a breakfast burrito before I came here, to be honest.
Really?
Maybe I did, but not as frequently or not as much of a thing in my life.
Is the food better in East Coast or over in the West Coast of Colorado? So, you know, you're from New York, so
that's a tough one. Yeah, I mean, like I'm from a really small town in New York, but still with like been around in New York a little bit, so it's tough. I feel like it just depends on where you go. No matter where you are in the country, you just got to know the right like towns and cities that have the good food or like that good spot in town. So I think it's totally variable. Every place has good food. It just sort of depends on how many options you have.
I live in Orlando, and I don't know if I'm gonna say all that. And that's partly because like all the good, like it seems like the places I grew up eating like closed down because they were like, you know, family owned and stuff, and now you have the chains and stuff like that. But I mean, I guess to each his own. So I guess I can't refute that statement.
Yeah.
Are you the funniest person on the team?
Probably not overtly, but I'm sort of like sneaky funny, I was recently called.
You seem like the type that you tell a joke and then it's quiet for 5 minutes and then you go about your business and then like they're like puking because they're laughing so hard.
Yeah. There's sort of like a, wait, did you just say
like it takes a minute, then it's like, oh my gosh, like this is like some serious level of humor. I can even see it in the show because like some of the things I'm like, oh my gosh, that's funny, but I need to make this point, so I don't have time to laugh.
Yeah.
So I definitely see that. Outside of the track, outside of reality television, what is life like as a professional athlete? What do you do to just wind down and to step away? You know, Marshawn Lynch talked about keeping your chickens, your mentals, and all that stuff intact. What does that look like for you?
Yeah, I think it's, well, I have 2 dogs. I spend a lot of time with them. So that's sort of like me, like it gives me something to do, something to focus on, like taking them out, going for walks, just like getting out of the house, moving around a little bit outside of running. But that's been like one thing that's been a little bit of a surprise as a pro athlete, which it shouldn't be, is that running so simple, but suddenly it becomes your entire life because like, you're a professional, and so it just seeps into everything. So it's important to sort of keep these things outside of running a little bit, I think, just to like keep the balance. Try going back to that balancing, like trying to maintain it a little bit.
Is it hard to like, instead of being like, oh my God, I have to maintain balance, is it easier to go with the flow?
Yeah, I mean, some people might feel differently, a little bit more regimented, but I do better when I just relax more and just let it be what it is going to be.
Okay, I like that. What is it about running that brings you joy? Because it looks like you're, to me, at least from an outsider's point of view, especially watching pre, it looks like you're just having fun out there.
Yeah. So something like it's definitely just like I am such a competitive person. I'm not competitive all the time about everything, but when I switch it on, it's like pretty intense. So it's just so I feel like it has different layers to it where you can be competitive with yourself. And then you get to go out and there's like no better feeling than just like running as hard as you can, like against other people. And then I'm kind of on a simpler level, like my run this afternoon, I didn't even like I forgot my watch, but I just was like out there and it's sort of like a nice time to just totally disconnect. I feel like I know like there are a lot of situations where, like especially if I'm on the treadmill, I'll be watching something or listening to something, or I'll be on a run with people. But sometimes it's just nice to have like 20 minutes to just totally
Yeah.
disconnect from everything.
What did that 159 do for you confidence wise? Because like you're a competitor, you say that switch pops on.
Yeah.
Obviously it gives you confidence. That's just,
Yeah.
that's just, but when it comes to these bigger meets coming up, and obviously
Hmm.
the big one, how do you channel that energy,
Yeah.
racing these great competitors?
Yeah, so when I ran 159 at Penn, it was like a great confidence boost, sort of just like that reinforcement that okay, I can like make this step, make this improvement. And I don't know, it's just such a big barrier when suddenly you have a one like at the start of your 800 PR. Um, but then it's been really interesting, like especially at pre, where like in the best way possible, I saw firsthand what the best 800-meter runners in the world look like, or like what they can do over the like tail end of the race, which is just like it's a kind of scary, but b also super motivating. And so it's been sort of bridging that gap and like believing that I can like be in these races and be competitive, but also like a big okay, there's also room for improvement.
Do you like being the underdog?
I think I do better that way. Yeah. Yeah. Like the tail end of my college career, I had to learn a little bit more mentally how to like deal with be not always being a favorite, but being like in that like upper part of the conversation.
Mhm.
But when I was in seventh grade in New York, I won the Class D, which is the smallest school's cross country state title. And that was like the ultimate underdog story because I was like 12 and I was, competing against these high school seniors, and it's small school, so we were like minutes behind the like top people in the state, but that's like always my mentality of like I'm gonna overcome these odds and I'm gonna bide my time and make a move at the end to like go for the win. But I've had to learn, especially in college, how to be like a little bit more of a protagonist. I like to think of it as.
I like that. That's interesting. So I'm going to change the name of the ice cream brand.
Hmm.
We do not want bland ice cream. That's bad. But the ice cream brand.
Yeah.
I think the perfect name for the promotion in a way that describes you on the track is Quiet Storm.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah, that's pretty accurate.
yeah. Shout out to my dog Smokey Robinson, who I don't know, but I just know that he wrote that song, and that just
Yeah,
came to
yeah,
me as you were talking.
yeah.
One, two more questions, then we're gonna move to rapid fire, then we're gonna wrap this up like a bow on a Christmas tree. So, what advice would you give young runners? Maybe obviously, you know what it's like running in college, you know what it's like running as a
Hmm.
professional, but somebody who's watching you, following in your footsteps, what's the biggest piece of advice that you would give them?
Yeah, you know what? I feel like when there's like two ways I could go about this. One, sort of like things that I've actually really internalized is it's just I've said this like multiple times. It's the sort of just keep moving forward and sort of have a short-term memory about things because there are going to be big dips in your track career, highs, sort of like the whole gauntlet of experiences around your performance and your attitude about it. And it's all about like riding them out and just like keep moving forward and not getting hung up on any one thing. And then one thing that I wish that I had internalized a little bit more, which this may be just like more reflective on people towards me, is just don't take it so seriously all the time, you know, like, and just have more fun with it. I feel like sometimes I could just get so like, you know, overly keyed in on, maybe this is kind of the same thing of just like, you can't get keyed in on one event that happened. It's just, it's about the whole experience. It's about the whole long-term thing, the relationships that you make along the way. And that's the most important part.
Last question is a two-part question. What do you love most about track and field, and what keeps you running?
Mm-hmm. What do I love most? I have to say just the community surrounding track. I've always found that really amazing because, you know, you meet so many people and it's a great way to connect with people, like no matter where you are. And then what keeps me running? I think what keeps me personally running is that, like, you know, I kind of I'd say like even if I wasn't a professional track athlete, I just love working out. I love just that like feeling of you're investing in yourself, you know, like taking time for yourself, pushing yourself, whatever that may be. Like I guess I feel like running is a really easy way for me to fulfill that, but it could also be like going to Pilates or like doing some other sort of like lifting or stuff like that. Yeah, just that. It's one way to do that.
You have successfully endured the gauntlet of the normal interview, as I call it. Now it's time for the real hard stuff. It's called down the home stretch. I'm going to ask you a few rapid fire questions. I want you to answer them to the best of your ability. There may be some breaks where I ask you to explain. That does not count against the time. There will be breaks where I ask you to explain. If you don't, it's really okay. Very few people do it, even though we've had an increased number. The winner of rapid fire, the person who has the fastest time, is Sinclair Johnson of the Union Athletics Club. So that is the time that you're beating. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
If there was a superhero if you had to pick a superhero to describe your game on the track, who are you rolling with?
Flash. Incredibles.
Flash. Okay. Flash is of the Incredibles. Okay, yes, that's right. I forgot. My bad. All right. If there was a food that you had to live with forever and live without forever, what would they be?
Live without artichokes and
Yes.
then live with pizza.
What kind of pizza? What style of pizza?
A nice Sicilian crust pizza with like pepperoni or something.
Yes. Love that. Hate artichokes, love Caesar salad, but find a way to make it without artichokes. Okay. If they came to you and said, Sage, we're going to make a movie about your life, and you got a chance to pick who you want to play your character, who are you rolling with?
You know, I once had someone tell me that the woman who plays Wonder Woman looks a little bit like me, which I don't know is totally correct, but I feel like she's like, you know, kind of like a generally athletic brunette actress. So sure, let's go for it.
Gadot. God,
Yeah.
Gal.
Get it? I don't even know how you pronounce it, but
Gigi, I'm just gonna call you that to be safe. Yeah, if you're watching this, my bad if I got it wrong. Don't come after me. All right. If there was somebody that if you were to pick somebody to narrate a race that you run or will run, who would it be?
Probably Obama. I just watched that National Park series and it was the most like relaxing thing to watch and listen to like in the evening.
But I feel like two things. It would make you, because he can make you fall asleep, like because he's so calm. Or like, let's say you're running the race you just ran at Capri, the way that he would announce it would make you cry, like as you
Oh,
cross the finish line.
100%. 100. Just the emphasis would be in the right spots. Yeah.
It's just like a father saying he's proud of you. So
Yeah.
I like that answer.
That's all I want.
Dream vacation spot.
Probably in the Finger Lakes in New York. Just sort of like a sentimental type vacation spot.
What is a trend that you would bring back and a trend that you wish would go away?
Gosh, I don't even know if I'm trendy enough to know which trends need to go away. But I think, gosh, a trend that would come back. Oh gosh. Well, this is a really tough one.
It could be from the 90s, it could be from the early 2000s, it could be music, it could be a style of dressing, it could be a type of food.
Yeah, I feel like I'm thinking one thing that I recently was talking about, this is like not necessarily answer your question, but one thing that I was talking about was how coconut oil was such a trend, I feel like, for a few years. And I feel like it's good that it's sort of like leveled off. Like, no hate on coconut oil, but I was never a huge fan. So we can kind of keep it at like reasonable levels of coconut oil, not coconut oil everything.
This will not count against this rapid fire. Let me tell you something about coconut oil. Coconut oil, cost as much as a tank of gas. It was we know how much gas costs.
Yeah.
And my doctor's like, you need to eat it in everything. Put it on your skin. So coconut oil was lotion. Coconut oil was hair grease. They said replace butter with it. I was making oatmeal with coconut oil and stuff like that. They would say fry your chicken with coconut oil. I'm having this coconut crusted oil fried chicken. Somebody owed me some money for that nonsense that I put up with over the years. It didn't solve a doggone thing. So yes, I agree 100%. All right. If you had to be the guest star of any television show, movie, or talk show, which one would you choose?
Dang, I feel like, I don't know, Saturday Night Live would be kind of fun, because it's just like, it's not just like a strict like interview. It's more like fun and playful if you're like the guest,
Okay, would you host it?
You get to interact. What?
Would you host it?
Oh yeah, that would be super fun.
That would be epic. Okay, so from any television series, movie, or television series or movie, which character from what show describes you the best?
Wow.
Be a cartoon.
That's a very broad thing to go from.
Low-key describes you the best.
Yeah. Trying to think of like I don't even know, but this is just like the thing that came to my mind. Perry the Platypus.
Oh man.
I just, maybe this is like me just hoping, like kind of on the outside seems, he's just a regular platypus.
Perry was not
doing all this cool stuff.
Perry was a stone cold G. He saved Phineas and Ferb from so many butt whoopings. Like, it is not even funny. You had a snitch and their sister. Listen, Perry the Platypus literally took down what is it?
Dr. Doofenshmirtz.
Doofenshmirtz Incorporated. He shut down a corporation. Perry, wherever you are, you my dog right there. All right, a couple more questions. Dream location to run at?
Probably just right here in Boulder. Location here in Boulder. I do love Rollinsville, which is like kind of just outside of Boulder. However, it would be really nice if it was at sea level. Way more enjoyable then.
Oh yeah, because listen, let me tell you something. You can breathe here. Well, you really can't breathe here in Orlando with the humidity, but
okay, minus the humidity, so we're low humidity, low elevation. Yeah.
Okay, so New York.
Yeah. Yeah.
All
so
right.
let's just go back to New York. Yeah.
Yeah, we're going back to New York. All righty. Last question. What would be the theme song or any song to describe either your life or you as a runner?
Me as a runner. Oh gosh, this is like a different way of thinking about it. Gosh. Well, didn't you say This Quiet Storm is a song, right?
Yes, my
You gave
Smokey
me the
Robinson.
answer. You gave me the answer.
Oh my gosh. Okay, because I listened to the song on this. Okay, fine.
I don't even know what I'm getting myself into, but
It's all good. Listen, it's all good. I'm not gonna lie to you. I'm gonna give you. You didn't win, but I'm gonna, and I don't believe in moral victories at all. Well, some stuff I do believe in. There's moral victories, but I'm gonna give you the tie.
okay, yay.
I'm gonna give you the tie. Yeah, listen. I'm gonna give you the tie. So right now it is Sinclair and Sage. Kara Winger is second. I mean, you're an elite company, fam. Like, so
yeah.
that is good. So once my plastic medals come in, then you will receive the gold medal for this.
Great.
So, like I said, just wait a couple years,
Okay. I'll try to keep it up here for.
There you go. Put it in Google Notes. Hashtag Siri. Yeah, let's make a reminder on that.
Yeah.
Sage, tell the people how you're rocking this year. What can we expect out of the second half? The season is almost over. That is just incredible to me. So it's like I just asked this question, like, how are you rocking this year? But I can't say how you're rocking this year because the season's pretty much almost over. So yeah, what can we expect?
I feel like the name of the game for me has just been like steady improvement so far this season. And I feel like that's just going to continue for the next, couple months as we wrap things up. So just things getting progressively better and better and just learning a little bit more and get ready because I'm going to sneak up on you.
Honest to God's truth, if there is somebody, I don't know if you pay attention to basketball in the NCAA tournament, you were like, so I'm guessing by the lack of response, that's a no. You're like the St. Peter's of track and field. Honestly, I think you can make this team. Like it would not surprise me because like there's a part of that race where you have this Black Air Force One energy that is like elite and next level. So you know what? I'm gonna say it. Sage, you're gonna make the team. I'm just gonna go ahead and say it. I'm not gonna.
I'll take it. I'll take it. Obviously, that's the goal. Also have the utmost respect for everyone that I'll be competing against. But
yes,
that's the goal,
Yes, and like I said, I got respect for so many, but I'm gonna just go out and say it. And what I'm gonna do is I'm not gonna interview any more 800-meter runners.
Okay.
The rest of the season. But no, in all seriousness, I am rooting for you. I do think. I'm gonna go ahead and say it. You're gonna make the team. I mean, if you won down the home stretch, I mean, gosh, like it's literally, people can't do that. So, where can the people find you to offer their support?
Like social media.
Yeah, pretty much. Follow your journey.
Yeah, so I mostly post on Instagram, so that's the best way to follow along with what I'm doing. The handle's Hurta Sage. I mean, I'm on Twitter, but I don't really, I'll repost things about how I'm doing, but to get like my perspective, definitely Instagram. Sage,
I appreciate you taking time out of your busy life. That would be an epic one. Sage's modern life. I'm a big Nickelodeon fan, as you can tell, but I do appreciate you taking time out of your busy schedule. Obviously, I know you're headed overseas soon to ball out over there. So thank you for coming on here. This is Lactic Acid. We don't have TikTok anymore. So if you follow me, all 4 of the followers that did, I apologize for letting you down, but the young kids I have to let them take that because I don't know what I'm doing, but you can follow me on Instagram, Lactic Acid Podcast, on Twitter, Lactic Acid _pod. We are popping off on YouTube, exclusive YouTube series Track Talk, where we talk fun stuff. You get different perspectives from myself and others. We keep it clean. It's very nice. It's very funny, but it's elite. Specifically, exclusively on YouTube. Follow that channel, Lactic Acid with Dominique Smith. And then follow the website. It is still being revamped, but it will soon be up to date. And if you listen to this podcast, subscribe, hit that like button, leave a nice review if you feel so inclined to. People like me appreciate it. It helps out. And we will catch you next time.